Bujiga Kanawia. Welcome to Anishinaabemowin Quick Reference Sheet, our Week 3 Introduction to Grammar, focusing on VIIs, verb intransitive inanimate, from the resource Waking Up Ojibwe. Their website is wakingupojibwe.ca. My name is Madeline Treuer, the Special Projects Coordinator with the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe. Here is a sneak peek at our quick reference sheet, and I have the VIIs. So here is our conjugation sheet. This is our guide, and our first verb ending in a vowel will be misqua. Inanimate, describing that it is red. Just in the singular positive form, one thing that is red, misqua. If you wanted to say they are red, those red colored pencils, you could say misqua one. If you wanted to say it is not a red colored pencil, you would say gawin misqua sinun. It is not a red colored pencil. Or gawin misqua sinunin. They are not red colored pencils. And our next verb we're going to be looking at for our VII conjugation, verbs ending in N. The example I have here is abu dasin. It is blown over by the wind. And in its singular and positive form, it is just that, abu dasin. If you wanted to say they are blown over by the wind, plural, you would say abu dasinun. And if you wanted to say it is not blown over by the wind, the canoe is not blown over by the wind, gawin abu dasin zinun. Gawin abu dasin zinun. If you wanted to say they, those canoes, are not blown over by the wind, you would say gawin abu dasin zinunin, to make it plural, to be more specific. Gawin abu dasin zinunin. Gawin abu dasin zinun. Gawin abu dasin zinunin. If the verb ends in D, like mikawadad, it is handsome or it is beautiful. The positive and singular is just that, mikawadad. You're going to tack on the plural suffix, mikawadadun. Those hats are beautiful, mikawadadun. If you wanted to say it is not beautiful, another way of saying it is ugly, you would say gawin mikawadasinun. And if we're paying attention to our little notes there at the bottom, that asterisk says that the D drops off the end of the verb when we conjugate in the negative. So gawin mikawadasinun and gawin mikawadassinunin for plural and the negative. And in Ojibwe, when we negate things, we use the double negative. So we use gawin and we use a negative suffix. Gawin mikawadassinunin. All right, looking at our next sheet, here we have our VII's B-form conjugations. So if you watched the previous video, week 2, we talked about A-form and B-form. And B-form is the dependent clause. It depends on what else you're saying in the sentence for it to make sense. Some examples of this include when, by, because, so that, in order to, conjugating two ideas together into one sentence. That is B-form in a nutshell. And A-form stands by itself independently. No other words are needed to complete the sentence, whereas B-form, you need the A-form clause to make it make sense. Or then we get into C-form. So we're going to use the same verbs here. Misqua, it, inanimate, is red. And you guessed it, the B-form misqua is misquag. I should make a note here this is capitalized, but in the sentence it wouldn't be capitalized. Same for on the previous page on the negative side. These would all be undercase because it would be part of the A-form sentence. And plural, same thing, misquag. So examples of these are like, if we were to say because it is red, we could use an idea like it is hot. Gijagamade, the liquid is hot. Misquag, because it is red. If that makes sense, that's my example. And then when it is not red, so that doesn't make sense by itself, but if we said Dakikamin, it is cold. Dakikamin misquasinog, it is cold liquid when it is not red. But then we also have for the plural, when it is not red, misquasinog. Then looking at our VII verb that ends in N, abudasin, it is blown over by the wind. Singular is just that, abudasing, abudasing. And the same for the plural, abudasing. So when it is blown over by the wind. And when it is not blown over by the wind, all right, looking at misquasinog and misquasinog for when they are not red or when it is not red. Abudasin zinog, when it is not blown over by the wind. And abudasin zinog, when they are not blown over by the wind. So it's kind of simple to talk in the B form about our VIIs. They don't change that much, especially in regards to singular versus plural. Then looking at our last verb, mikawadad, it is handsome or it is beautiful, ends in a D. We have a special note here where we drop the D off the end of the verb. In the positive B form, singular, it becomes mikawadak. Nimin waindam mikawadak. I'm happy when it is pretty. Describing maybe an artwork or something inanimate like that, mazanaigan paper. And the same for our plural, and again, these would not be capitalized within that second part of the sentence. Mikawadak. And then in the negative, when it is not beautiful. Gawin naman waindanzin. I am not happy. Gawin naman waindanzin. Mikawada sinok. I am not happy when it is not pretty. So there we have the quadruple negative, triple negative in our sentence to make that correct. All right. Looking at our citations, again, we're looking at the Anishinaabemowin verb conjugation quick reference sheet from Waking Up Ojibwe, and their website is wakingupojibwe.ca. And then for the verbs referenced, I was using the Ojibwe People's Dictionary online resource, which is ojibwe.lib.umn.edu. And today we reviewed positive and negative A-form and B-form, VII, conjugations for verbs ending in N, OON, IN, and D. Miigwech nandawabundameg janandagikendameg Ojibwemowin. Thank you all for tuning in to learn Ojibwe. While we took a look at our Anishinaabemowin quick reference sheet, week 3, introduction to grammar, focusing specifically on VIIs, or verb inanimate intransitive. And I am Madeline Treuer, your special projects coordinator with the Minnesota Chippewa tribe. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Miigwech.